Alrighty boys, CD Projekt Red has released some patch notes for patch 1.2, which of course was delayed by almost 2 months due to them being hacked, which is most unfortunate because patch 1.2 was supposed to be an absolute McBanger. Is it going to fix the game completely? I don't know, but it was supposed to do some great things here. So they released an article today, which we're going to go over. It also includes some demonstration videos, some demos, if you will, and a couple of other tidbits of information about what we're actually going to be getting in 1.2, and that comes out sometime between your retirement and your death. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, sharing my screen here. Like I said, this article came out today, directly from CD Projekt Red. And some of the things that they're working on with patch 1.2, besides all the small hot fixes, the bug and glitch fixes, is right here. There was a huge complaint about the police system. Basically, they would spawn right behind you. Can you imagine if that's how it went down IRL? Like you're trying to tag some beautiful artwork at the local bridge in your city, and Officer Jerry pops up out of nowhere with his baton halfway up your tuchus. You heard it right, the NCPD, North Carolina Police Department? Night City Police Department, got it. Probably about the same performance. So basically what they're doing with this system, where's my cans at? Awesome. Ugh. So basically what they're doing with this system here is two things. They are having the police spawn further away from you, so it gives you the illusion that they're not, you know, just so quick to respond to the situation when you break the slightest law. Like you jaywalk and there's 3 officers in your face. And 2 is they added a drone system, which I actually think is pretty cool. It's a NCPD drone that will assess the situation to try and, you know, get a viewpoint. What's going on? What's going on? Did this guy steal a pack of gum or is he raping people on the sidewalk? You know, big difference there. So it'll assess the situation, and then that's how it determines how many officers and how quickly they will respond to the situation. So let's watch this little video together, guys. Pop the old cans on. Alright, so just a typical day in Night City. We're just going to pop a couple of random NPCs here. She was minding her own business. Now she's on fire. Life can be like that sometimes, right? So here's that NCPD drone I was talking about. As you can see, it was actually shooting at you. But it's been obliterated out of the sky, sent to the Shadow Realm. And then you can see that officer. Where did he spawn from? Could we see that? Wow, just as soon as you turn around, he was out of your field of view. Whoa, there's Officer Jerry. He's running up. So again, I don't think CDPR. I don't think that's the response time is still too quick there. The dude's. I love that. Protect and fucking serve. That's the guy that tried his damnedest during recruit training to get that gold demerit badge here. Jesus Christ. All right, what else they got for me? What else do you got for me, CDPR? This is an important step addressing the behavior of the police in our game. It should decrease the problem of NPCs spawning behind our players' backs and create the impression that it takes more time for the police to arrive at the crime scene after the crime has been reported. So that's what the drone is there. That's basically the process of like, how do they know that a crime's been committed? Because previously, you know, there's no police in sight and you jack somebody out of their ride, right? Their nice shiny wheels, so to speak, and all of a sudden you're getting swarmed. And it's like, how did you guys even know? Like, nobody called it in. You never saw an NPC on the sidewalk call it in. Like, hey, this guy is stealing a car. He's got a gun too. Yeah, he's got cybernetic implants as well. Yep, butt plug. Yep, he's got one. And then they come get you. So I don't like the way that they wrote this piece of journalistic piece here. Instead of just giving you the nitty-gritty squeeze-a-titty facts about what they're giving you in the patch, they're like, look left, look right, look again, then run for your life. And like the whole article is like this. Like they're using like jargon and lingo from in the game and stuff, which I get it. You're trying to build the immersion around your game, but we just want to know how you're going to make it more playable. As morgues are filling up with roadkill, it's statistically safer to stroll through Kabuki Market, which used to get clicked, clacked, and mac attacked, as the kids would say. It was if you're gonna roll through Kabuki Market, my advice to all my boys is quite simply stay strapped or get clapped, standing ovation style. So Kabuki Market was nowhere that I'd like to hang out on the weekends usually. Maybe during the weekday when it's more of a business area, but It's not somewhere you want to take your wife out for an evening stroll, let me tell you that. They will explore more than just her cybernetics, I'll tell you that. The city council approved a bill forcing vehicle manufacturers to update their steering firmware. So instead of just being like, we are making changes to where vehicles now have 30% less weight and the steering is 25% more tight or more responsive or has a different steering curve. They're like, City Council's approved a bill. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to paint a picture, but you could paint a picture on my back, sister, just by telling me how you gonna fix the game. Let's go ahead and watch this one too, boys. Cans back on. I'm assuming what's on the left is the previous iteration of the game, which is currently patch 1.1, which they did release January 22nd, so that one was on time, but then this other patch was supposed to be here for our pleasure on late February, and it never came due to their hacking event, which is unfortunate. Okay, so it did look a little bit like the vehicle was a little bit more manageable. Granted, that wasn't some sports car or anything like that. That was a heavy-ass sedan, like a Lincoln or a Cadillac or something. And, you know, those things, those IRL, those bad boys handle like a boat. Or a yacht, maybe even. And, you know, it did look like it was a little bit tauter, a little tighter in the steering and whatnot. You were able to whip the wheel a little tighter, so that's good, man. That's good. Okay, now this is huge if they do implement this. Drivers should also expect to be able to better personalize their driving experience by adjusting the sensitivity limits to a level they're comfortable with, providing a much-needed breather for insurance companies. God dang, there they are again. These insurance companies don't exist. It's a freaking game. But anyway, they're going to allow you to adjust, so a separate slider for the sensitivity in vehicles. Like steering sensitivity. I think that's a fantastic change. In fact, I wish more open world games that have driving in them would implement that as well. It's great. Will this be a good change, or will it subject more morgues, street sweepers, and auto repair shops to economic hardship? A lot of players were having issues with the speed of the steering. Most complaints come from players using keyboards on PC or were on platforms with lower frame rates. So that's definitely not PC unless you're on an older PC. The consoles were at like 28 frames per second capped, and sometimes down there into the teens. I've covered that. I will say immediately that driving with a keyboard and mouse is not ideal. However, I did stream the game for about 16 hours or so on Twitch and Facebook Gaming when the game first came out, like launch night. I switched between keyboard and mouse and controller. And my consensus or conclusion was that I was going to go ahead and stay on... Holy fuck, get on there. My consensus or conclusion was that I'm going to stay on keyboard and mouse because it's not a first-person shooter, but there is shooting in it where having the manipulation of a mouse is ideal. Not to mention, everything else felt a lot more fluid, and like I could execute it quicker on keyboard, like the hacking and even just clicking things in the environment instead of having to move with the stick and then press a face button, or if you have paddles, press a face button. And yeah, I could drive no problem with keyboard and mouse, but it doesn't feel as satisfying as using a controller where you can control how much gas or brake you give it by squeezing the triggers, and then obviously by how far you move the analog stick, that's how much steering input. As where keyboard and mouse, it's all or nothing, baby. It's Paul Walker, God rest him. It's full throttle all the way. Charlie's Angels too, full throttle. How hard it was to keep cars off sidewalks and such. There was a lot of pedestrian slide, I remember. Oh, here we go. There we go. There, just spell it out for me. We're simpletons. Steering sensitivity slider in the options, which I called a few minutes ago here. When experiencing lower frame rates, cars are harder to control. Everything's harder to control with lower frame rate. Shootouts, good luck winning one of those. If you're at 20 frames per second and the person you're facing is at 144 or something, or even just like consoles. We look at like when the last generation consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, I'm sorry. When people were capped at 30 frames per second, 60 if you're on the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. But still, people are on PC with 260 frames per second. Obviously, that's a very high-end PC, but it's certainly not fair because your screen's only refreshing that many times a second, as where the PC player with the G Fuel dripping off the mustache is all over you like white on rice. Steering speed is now very consistent from 20. I don't know who would play any game at 20 frames per second. To 60 plus. Last, a bunch of tweaks to individual cars and adjusted Excuse me. Last, we looked at a bunch of tweaks to individual cars and adjusted some of them that were too twitchy in low frame rates. The system allows drivers to rotate or rock their vehicles back and forth to regain traction. So incredibly unrealistic, very arcadey, but we'll see a demo on it. So now, in 1.2, if your dumbass gets stuck on a barricade, you can, I mean, I guess you could do that in real life if you're just like, come on, unstick for me, honey. Yes, sir. We are back in the fight. Update your neuroprocessor, drivers, or die. My goodness. This is not a joke. Well, I certainly wasn't laughing at it. It's raining men, hallelujah, in Night City, and not for the reasons you'd expect. Just over last month, authorities recorded nearly 4,000 fatal accidents caused by neuroprocessor glitches, causing users to dodge without intending to. The manufacturer has prepared an update to address the issue. Dodge on double tapping a movement key can be turned off in the control settings. The dodge action can still be performed by double tapping the crouch. Okay. Which is default C on you, the PC players. Would be B on a Xbox or circle on a PlayStation. I don't know why I just broke that down. I'm sure any of you people that are on these platforms know this stuff. It should now be more feasible to move the WSAD keys around the keyboard. There still remains a few bindings that need to be addressed. I never had any issues dodging. I was peeking in and out of corners. I was hip-firing people. I was shucking grenades. I was mollywopping people on stream. All right, let's watch the video. They're playing my jam, too. Okay, so it's just showing you the settings. Okay. Boring. Alright, well, since I think that's all the videos, I can set my cans aside for now. Cool, so, like I said, I get what they're trying to do with the... Oh, what the fuck is that? I was just testing a new webcam for a YouTube review, and I forgot to expand my screen again, so... but anyway, the way they wrote the journalistic piece or the article was very cyberpunky. It was very CD Projekt Red. We'll just say that. They tried to stay with the theme of the game and whatnot. Now, they do have... Share my screen again. They do have breakdowns here in bold for all of these, so if you don't understand where the hell the actual information is, it's right here. But then all this, like, not bold text in here is where you're going to get all that fluff and all that Night City jargon and fictional story building and whatnot. So, I am still very excited for 1.2 and for the game in general. I do think it was a good game at launch. It just, on console, it was virtually unplayable. And PC, it had some cosmetic issues. I didn't find any game-breaking or progress-stopping bugs or glitches on my stream or anything like that, but there was some cosmetic stuff, NPCs walking into each other, some clipping, some textures popping in and off in the distance, and then obviously some of the physics were off, like vehicles. I did not like the police literally spawning balls deep inside me every time I, you know, slap an NPC or something. That was unrealistic, because in real life, I could slap somebody, I'd probably get my ass beat because I don't know how to fight, but it would take the police quite some time to get there if they even got called out for a slap. It'd be a slap heard around the world, let me tell you. That's going to do it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, it put a little smile on your face and a tickle in the nether regions. Liking the video helps it get seen by more people, helps me to grow my little channel, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover a lot of news in the gaming community and industry, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing. See you in the next one. Peace.